With Beyblade CX on the horizon and a new manga chapter that gives us more info on how they made CX, let's talk about all the updated news. And by the way, if you want to get Beyblade X products from a Canadian import seller, check out malabays.com. We have amazing Beyblade X products that are Japan imported. It is an optional way to support the channel. I appreciate any and all support regardless. Okay, so let's just go straight into Golem. So they basically describe the blade and its gimmick and design with this whole thing of basically the same thing as like Hell's Chain, where they say, oh, well, the top level and the bottom level, different levels to deflect attacks. Now, I'm gonna be honest, you know, it seems like a very small and condensed blade, so what I'm very curious here, and the big factor here is going to be weight. Now, obviously in Beyblade, there's weight distribution, and shape. All these factors play into each other. I do think weight is a very big contributing factor in general for Beyblade. I know some kind of get upset if that's being said, but yes, that is true, because that is a big factor that can help determine if some releases do better than others. I think overall for the shape and design, if the weight on it is, let's say, you know, we're talking, you know, maybe like mid-30s, you know, 35 or something, I could see maybe some interesting potential here. What I'm wondering is just going to be, you know, how defensive is it actually going to be? Is the goal here just supposed to be like a lot of recoil to deflect? I guess we'll eventually see and find out. Now also we have the 160 ratchet, which I've already said is pretty good for deflecting opponents. Is it a good all-around part, so this is a pretty good reason if you want to get Golem, since you just get a nice 160. We also have UN, which is now confirmed to be 2mm shorter than the average bit, so that means if you're at 60 height, you're technically at 40 height, so that is a very interesting design choice that they had for Golem. Since defense types struggle, you know, sometimes because they make them really tall, and not all the time tall defense can work effectively, depends on the context of the combination. I think having a bit that is super low, which is going to be harder to hit that ratchet, could be a pretty interesting idea. I'm still kind of skeptical because the needle shape is not really good for stamina, but we'll eventually see if it has any use. Alrighty, now we have Shelter Drake. Also, I find this really funny, but if you actually see like the actual render for it, it seems very thin. A very thin blade. I thought it would have been a little bit thicker. I guess not, so it is what it is. Yeah, Shelter Drake, they basically just describe it as like any balance type. They always say, oh, well, this is a balance type, so it can fucking, it can fly in the air and swim in the ocean, you know, like that's the type of shit that they write for the description. In terms of my thoughts on the shape and design, I actually think it reminds me a lot of Tyranno Beat, so I'm thinking, potentially speaking, you know, maybe this could be like a decently aggressive blade that could be good for maybe smash attack potential, I would say. I'm decently excited for this blade. 780, I've already said, 7 sides is going to be really good for deflecting and even attack combos, so for defense types, it's a buff. I want to say too, also because of that, because it's at the 80 height, so that's going to be like really cool for maybe builds like Silver Wolf, potentially. That could be something interesting. We also do get our other combinations here, which are Shelter Drake on 570 Orb, which I think is a fine choice. Orb is very close to Ball in performance. I just think Orb has better KO defense, I guess, than Ball. The other combo here is on 360 Dot, which I'm perfectly okay with this. I would have liked the 960, sure, but, you know, Dot is a pretty good defense bit, so to have a reprint on it is pretty nice. I mean, like, overall, for a random select lineup, this is not that bad. This is a lot better than Whale Wave, which Whale Wave was, we had Gear Ball and High Needle, so I'll take what I can get. This is a good one. This was a good one. Oh, I also want to throw this out there. I did mention in the last one because they do have a little page that reference Shiaru or Seal, whatever name you want me to use, but I did also see this post, and I did make a post on it too, but there are design elements from, I guess, all the Bucket and Shoot homages for like the main ones, whatever, so I find it a little bit interesting how it incorporates everything into its design. And also the gear point, yeah, cool, whatever. Gear point's like an okay balance bit, you know, it's a little hard to control, whatever, but I think it's fine. I'm suspecting that probably the reason why, for an example, we've seen reprints of Gear Ball and now Gear Point is probably going to be because of the fact that once we get to March, we're going to get a lot of new content, so probably that they're trying to hold off a bit so they can kind of save for that March time with CX. Which, hey, speaking of which, we have the manga chapter, and hey, shout out to Kyo for any translation notes. So they basically just talk in this chapter where, first of all, we see Team Persona beating Team Goldius with Tenka just obliterating that butler with Samurai Saber. Literally got their shit wrecked with not much time to spare right at the start of the chapter, so they gain a star. This whole thing now in Beyblade X is now to face Omega Shiraboshi. They have to collect all these stars in order to reach to the top. So because we didn't see Exu previously, Exu is confronted by Chrome, where he's challenging him to a battle, and the really strangest thing here is that he technically beats Exu, but actually doesn't beat Exu, because what happens is he activates his King Crimson ability, where he just mentally imagines the entire battle and the outcome for what was gonna happen, and he goes, nah, you're fucking weak, man. Get some new shit and level up and then come back, because you are not gonna beat Omega Shiraboshi. So then, Exu goes to Multi, and he's like, Multi, can you make a Bey that surpasses the laws and natures of this world? Because that's how they basically describe, like, Impact Strike. It's like this forbidden Bey that shouldn't exist because of blah, 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 blah. They also decided to add that Tenka's like, hey, Multi, I saw some, like, cool Beycraft ideas when I was a kid when I was inside Besa. And, like, Multi's, like, very surprised by this, because obviously Omega Shiraboshi and the ties to Besa, which is, like, Beyblade Nass or whatever, so they get the inspiration, which I think is cute. So that's how it leads into the creation of CX, where they're trying to create Beys that I guess can hold more power in them, or something like that. I think it's kind of a decent way to, you know, lead into it without having the Beys just, oh, the Bey broke, so let's make a new thing. Yeah, so I think overall with all this news and information, I think CX is going to be really exciting, because next month we're going to be getting so many details, and I plan to do a huge video eventually breaking down and covering a lot of stuff in February, but yeah, that's kind of it. So if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, what are your thoughts on everything? I think overall in terms of releases, Golem, I think, has some interesting things going for it. UN did sell me a little bit on there because of the super low height. Shelter Drake, Blade seems fine, you know, I'm not too crazy on it. I want to see more details like the weight and eventually all that stuff, whatever, but for now, I don't know. Thank you all for watching. What are you most excited for? Any thoughts or speculation? Drop it in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. That'll be it for now. Take care and bye.